Unlock your potential today at skillbakery.com.
In this one, we'll be exploring Cypress, which is a JavaScript test framework. It's a powerful and user-friendly end-to-end testing framework designed specifically for modern web applications. It enables developers and QA engineers to write and execute tests that simulate real user interactions with web pages, unlike traditional testing tools. Cypress runs directly in the browser, providing fast, reliable, and interactive testing experiences. Key features of Cypress includes real-time interaction, automatic waiting, time travel, and built-in assertions along with fast feedback. Real-time interaction. Cypress runs in the same browser context as your application, allowing you to see tests executing in real time. Automatic waiting. It automatically waits for elements to appear or actions to complete without requiring explicit delays in your test. Time travel means Cypress records a snapshot of your application at each test step, allowing you to travel back in time and see the state of your app when a failure occurs. Built-in assertions. Cypress provides built-in commands and assertions for interacting with and verifying the behavior of DOM elements. Fast feedback means tests are fast thanks to its tight integration with the browser. Use cases include end-to-end testing, where we can verify that our application works as expected from the user's perspective. Integration testing tests how different parts of your application interact with each other. Then component testing tests individual UI components in isolation. So how Cypress stands out compared to other testing frameworks? First, easy setup. No need for additional plugins or WebDriver configurations. Then we have all-in-one testing, which includes everything you need for testing. No additional libraries required. Then we have developer-centric approach, built with modern JavaScript frameworks and tools in mind, making it easy to integrate into existing workflows. Now let's go ahead and explore one example using Cypress testing framework. So here what I've done is, if you'll notice, I've opened my terminal over here, and the first thing is to install Cypress. For that, you need to run this command, npm install --save-dev, then a space, and Cypress. Once you have done this, it's installed, you need to open up another terminal, and there you need to run this command npx cypress open. When you do this, you will be presented with this screen that you see, and if it's the first time, then you will read this message which says it looks like this is your first time using Cypress. When you do this, it will present you with this screen where you have the project name coming up on top, Cypress framework, and then here you have the E2E testing as well as component testing. I'll be selecting E2E testing, which is build and test the entire experience of your application from end to end to ensure each flow matches your expectation. So we'll be selecting E2E testing, and over here you'll see that it has created a directory called Cypress, and these are the files that are being created inside this directory: cypress.config.js, cypress support e2e.js, cypress support command.js, and cypress pictures example.json. Now click continue, and over here you can see the browser using which you want to test. These are the supported ones, so we'll select Chrome over here and we'll say start E2E testing in Chrome. It's opening E2E testing in Chrome. Over here you can see the specs are being running over here. Chrome is being controlled by automated test software, and this is what we have over here. Create your first spec, if says over here. And then we have, since this project looks new, we recommend that you use the specs and tests that we have written for you to get started. So here we have scaffold example specifications. We will generate several example specs to help guide you on how to write tests in Cypress. And then over here, create a new spec. We will generate a template spec file which can be used to start testing your application. So let's go ahead and select one over here, and as you can see over here, it gives you the directory where exactly these tests needs to be written. So the directory is Cypress, and within that we have E2E, which means end-to-end testing, and then a name of the test file, which is over here, spec.cy.js. So we'll keep everything as is. Click on create spec, and over here you will now notice that we have the code coming up over here. Let's explore what exactly this means. So we have describe over here. That's the first line. And then it contains template spec. What it means is the described block groups related tests together into a test suite. In this case, the test suite is template spec. It helps organize tests logically. Then we have the next line, line number 2, where we have IT, and then it says passes. The I2 block defines an individual test case. You can treat it as I as an independent and T as in test. So IT, that's independent test case. And here, the value that you see passes is basically the name of the test case. So basically, it just describes what the test does. And then we have cy.visit over here. So cy as in short notation for Cypress. .visit command navigates to the specified URL. It loads the application you want to test. So here basically what we'll do is we will have to update our URL. We will simply close this over here. We have our spec.cy.js, and when you select it over here, you'll see that it's loading some tests. It's trying to run everything, but it's failing because this URL is not what we want to test. Now, if I go back over here and I choose an editor and click on save changes and then click on this again, you'll notice that now it's opened over here, spec.cy.js, and we will now update this particular testing script with our own. So we'll keep the template spec as my first test. So we'll change this particular thing, and we'll also change the IT, that's individual test case name. So we'll say visits the index page and checks the heading. Now our site is running on localhost port 3000. So we'll be changing this as well. Once we are on this URL, the next thing that we want to do is get the heading and compare it with the value that we have provided over here. So let's save this, and in our index page you'll see we have the ID heading, and then the heading content is hello Cypress. So ideally this should open up the localhost URL, and then it should grab the heading, that's the h1 tag with ID heading, and it will compare it with the value that we have, hello Cypress, and it should then show the result to us. Now let's go back, and over here we'll say run all tests, and here you can see it's on example.cypress.io. Let's go back. So here we'll select our spec, and then we'll click on this spec.cy.js file, and here you will see that it says your tests are loading. Over here you can see that it says sorry, we could not load this URL because right now our site is not running. So it fails at that point, and you can see the stack trace over here. Now let's go back to our portal, and over here we'll go live, and this page should be opened up. And over here, as I can see, the URL has changed a bit. So instead of localhost URL this, we have this IP address based one. So let's go ahead and change this to our spec.js file over here. Now that we have it in place, we will be rerunning this, and our site is also running now. So over here you can see that the URL is up and running. It says hello Cypress, and on the other side you can see that the test body is saying that the getting h1 head tag asserts expected h1 heading to contain hello Cypress, and that's what we get over here. Now if I go back and change the content of it, instead of Cypress we'll say hello world, and then come over here, you'll notice that we have hello world coming up. It says page loaded, and let's rerun the tests. So here it fails. So you can see that we have the errors coming up over here. It shows you where exactly it's failing. So the h1 heading to contain hello Cypress, and it timed out retrying after 4000 milliseconds. It says that this is what it is in the test, but actually the content is different, and that's the reason why it's failing. And here it shows you the total amount of time that it took to produce this test result. So here you can see that it failed and the count is coming up over here. And that's how easy it is to make use of Cypress and HTML to test your website. If you find the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.